From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. Much of the week was dominated with the continuing US-Iran conflict. The ceasefire remains despite a flare-up in tensions and an exchange of fire in the Strait of Hormuz. The US gave Iran a couple of days to weigh up a 14-point memorandum, a one-pager that could end the fighting. As FSN's Alistair D'Souza reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, while on a trip to Italy, says Iran's response is expected Friday. Rubio says he hopes serious negotiations then follow. The U.S. proposal is aimed at putting an immediate end to the fighting and opening up the Strait of Hormuz. A 30-day period of talks would then take place to address tough questions on Iran's nuclear program. Meanwhile, the fighting continued Thursday, marking the most intense military confrontation in weeks, U.S. President Trump insisting the ceasefire is very much in place.
The US and the Vatican have committed to improving bilateral ties after a fence-mending visit by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. His trip to Rome comes amid President Donald Trump's repeated broadsides against the leader of the Catholic Church, who's urged for peace in the Middle East. Ever since Tony Waterman sent this report from Washington.
It's an unusual assignment for Secretary Rubio to repair relations with the Vatican after his boss, President Trump, called the Pope weak and said the head of the Catholic Church supported Iran having a nuclear weapon. The State Department says Rubio and Pope Leo discussed the situation in the Middle East during his 2.5-hour visit to the Vatican, but didn't go into detail. Pope Leo, the first American pontiff, has been a vocal critic of Trump's war in Iran and his immigration policies. The trip was partly meant to help the White House shore up conservative Christian voters ahead of the midterms, a loyal Trump base upset with how he's treated the pontiff and memes the president has posted depicting himself as Jesus.
A U.S. federal trade court this week struck down President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff, declaring it illegal. The White House imposed the rate in February after the Supreme Court ruled against the administration's Liberation Day tariffs. Meanwhile, President Trump has set a July 4th deadline for the European Union to implement a trade deal brokered last summer.
90.3 WRST-FM Oshkosh proudly serves the campus and community. And listen to us anywhere you go on the Radio FX app or stream us live on 90.3 WRST.org.
Good evening, everybody, and cue the small sad violin music. It's the final episode of the Sports Page for both the spring semester and the 2025-26 school year, where we cover anything and everything UW Oshkosh athletics and sports from across the state of Wisconsin. We have a lot in store for this final hour show, so let's get to it. Remember, this is the last Monday you can tune into the Sports Page from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on 90.3 WRST-FM, on our website, WRST.org, or the Radio FX app by typing in 90.3 WRST. My name is Braden Junkers, WRST Sports Director. Over in the corner on his final show, Jacob Link, and to my left, Digital Content Manager Zach Bellin. Guys, how are you doing? Jacob, first you. Your final show, you've been on here for practically 4 years. How are you feeling? Final show to wrap it up.
Yeah, it'll be my last time ever on WRST throughout my 5 years going to school here. Started in 2021. Fast forward to 2026, and it feels like I should still be coming on the show next week. But fortunately, that won't be the case, and I'll definitely miss it, Braden.
And Zach, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit stressed. Finals week has got us all a little amped up, and a lot of emotions as I'm staying an extra semester, but I should be graduating with Jacob. But, it's a bittersweet ending to what was a great semester here.
Yeah, and then for folks, sadly, I will not be sports director for the next school year, but it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome to be on here. But we're going to start out right away. We're going to talk about UW Oshkosh softball after, in the most crazy way possible, got bounced in a semifinal round of the WIAC tournament. UW Stevens Point, who ended up going on to win the WIAC tournament championship. And guys, the Titans first get bounced from the semifinals and now have to make a trip all the way to St. Louis, Missouri to play in the Wash U Regional. Really kind of a out of left field that we weren't expecting for a Titan team that, again, all year, they won the outright WIAC regular season title, who is ranked third in the country. This is a concern. Jacob, Zach, who wants to start here?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and say Illinois College, they've won 13 games in a row so far. So they are a very good team. And the last meeting that they had with Wash U, sure, that was all the way back on February 15th, but they only lost 3-2. That one was very, very close. Oshkosh, it'll be their first time playing against Illinois College this season. And, while looking at some of their opponents, it's definitely weaker than the WIAC. You still got to be pretty concerned about your hitting after that loss to Stevens Point in the WIAC semifinals, especially when you were able to sweep Stevens Point earlier in the season. Back on April 30th, they were able to get the 4-3 win in 10 innings and then get the 4-0 victory as well. So they were able to put runs across, and they were able to kind of get a hold of Rizzo in that first game, and she earned the loss. Really, her only loss of the season, which is amazing to think that she can come back against the Titans in the WIAC tournament and put together a one-hit performance across 7 innings. And you look at the pitching staff, Kieran Sanford giving up 2 runs, only one of them being earned on 3 hits. That's not a bad performance from her. To only allow 2 runs, and one of them basically just allowed 1 because the other one was unearned. So 1 run throughout, her innings on the mound, her 4 innings, and then to have Bougie come out there and blank them for the final 3 innings. The pitching staff was not the issue here. It was by far the hitting. And they just could not get any part of Rizzo. And that was just disappointing to listen to as I was driving home for Mother's Day. But Cody Rizzo, there's no reason why she shouldn't win Pitcher of the Year in the WIAC. Whenever you have somebody that goes under a 1 ERA, 0.98, that is just amazing. She's an amazing pitcher, which is why I think if the Titans would have been able to get a couple more hits out there, maybe kind of wear out her arm, whenever you force them to go to the reliever, Stevens Point is not the best. It's when they have Rizzo out there that they are the best. And at that point, Rizzo was the best player on the softball diamond, and that's why Stevens Point was able to beat Oshkosh.
Yeah, and I think for Jacob, being on the call for that game, it felt like the game was going by so quick because the Titans were not patient at the plate whatsoever. It was 8 strikeouts against Cody Rizzo. There was not a single base runner until the 6th inning with a walk by Sarah Hamilton. 5 innings of perfect softball. 5 innings. Any team, I don't care. You go 5 innings and you can't get a base runner, you're never going to win a game like that. And Cody Rizzo had settled in. The only hit for the Titans was an RBI single from Olivia Ullman that blooped into center field. This Titan team needs to wake up and quickly. This is unacceptable. I will say that. It is unacceptable. It's embarrassing for your offense. I mean, Cody Rizzo, Pitcher of the Year, yes. You got to find some way to just put runs together. If it's dropping a bunt down, if it's working a count. But there were so many times where batters were just staring at pitches down the middle. Like, you got to be aggressive. That's what Stevens Point did. They played to 2 runs. I mean, you got to do something because I will say this. If they cannot figure out their offense, Illinois College is going to maul them. They will walk away with an easy victory. And if anything, you have to go through, if you were to beat Illinois College, then you have to play Wash U. I mean, this is a very unlucky draw for a Titan team that really, I mean, yes, they've gotten wins in the WIAC, but they really haven't had a game that's proven they're legit. They're ranked in the top 25 for a reason. And I will say that.
Yeah, excuse me. I honestly think the draw is pretty fitting for Oshkosh considering their performance in the last couple of weeks. Like, you both have mentioned their offense so far, and it's been subpar at best. Like, dating back to April 22nd against Marian University in the first game of a doubleheader, that's the last time they've scored more than 8 runs, the Titan offense. So it's been subpar at best, like you were kind of touching on. And I talk about Rizzo bringing her A game in the most important time of the season. Like, there's no better time for that, and I think a lot of us expected Oshkosh to win that game, but we've talked about it all season. Their offense puts them at risk in every single game. Their pitching staff gives them the chance to win, but their lineup makes it difficult to win.
And I think as we kind of look through the rest of the teams in that half of the bracket for softball, we'll start here with Oshkosh. As a team right now, they're batting .291. That is not very good. But, and it's still even lower than Capital College, or Capital University, out of Columbus, Ohio. They're in the same side. Then they wouldn't match up the first round, but if they lost because it's double elimination, there's a good chance they're going to face Capital at some point. Capital's batting .293, and their pitching staff, lowest ERA is a 3.6. So Capital, not the best team. So that's probably going to be, honestly, a very good chance for a win for Oshkosh with those 2 teams in face-up. And then, of course, you got Illinois College. Illinois College has a very good pitching staff. Their lowest ERA pitcher is Jordan Kloss, 1.67 ERA. couple other pitchers are on 2.4 ERAs as well. Batting, Illinois College is at 309. So that is a lot better than the Titans' 291. And then, of course, you got the hosts, WashU. WashU has 2 pitchers with under a 2 ERA, another one sitting at 2.36. And as a team, batting-wise, they're hitting 348. 348 as a team. There is no doubt in my mind that WashU is indeed the best team statistically out of this half of the bracket. And that'll be the toughest team that Oshkosh has to face. But we've seen it before. Maybe not this year, but in previous years, Oshkosh had to go and play a team like Trine to go to the College World Series 2 years ago. And what happened? They lost the first game badly. And they won the next 2, and they advanced to the College World Series. They somehow found a way. Scott Beyer is a coach who can always find a way to get the job done. And even though they struggled in the WIAC tournament, the squad is still good enough, and that if they face some adversity, I think they can come back and at least get to a point where they're at least a win away from going to the Super Regional.
But Jacob, just to add on that team in 24 that made that run had a batting average of 312 as an offense instead of a below 300 average. I think they have to find a way to get this offense rolling because, again, we talked about it. Last year, this team was hyped up again because they were coming off a big win in the WIAC tournament and got bounced by Stevens Point. I mean, this Stevens Point squad, they can do some damage. I know that they were the 50th team overall in the selection, but, they have a lot of talent to make some noise. I think Oshkosh has to find a way to show everybody that they can still make a run because right now they have to prove a lot of things before I feel confident that they can go make a run because right now this offense, it's ice cold.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's no better way to put it. The Titans have been finding ways to win games thanks to their pitching staff like Sanford and Bougie. But, you compare the two teams, that 2024 team, they have less than half the home runs that team did. It's just there's positive ways to look at it, but it's hard not to ignore, or it's hard to ignore the screaming red button that's going off in my face that is the Titans offense. As I was saying before, they haven't scored more than 4 runs since April 22nd, and they've played plenty of games and had plenty of chances against teams they should be beating, and they have been beating, but I just, there's concern when you're going against these high-powered offenses and pitching staffs like WashU and Illinois. Our highest OPS is a 1.006, and Illinois College has four ladies that have a 1.0 OPS, and some of them haven't played in a lot of games. Their sample size is a little skewed, but that right there just shows if there's 2 teams better than you in a 4-team group, that's not, at least statistically, it's a scary time.
Yeah, and Zach, actually, just to add on that, Maddie Crick, who does have that 1,000 OPS, is even a qualified hitter.
Oh, yeah.
She only has 35 at bats. The OPS leader is Ovia Ullman with a 932, and then after that, you have 3 players with at least an 800 OPS. You only have 1 900 OPS player. That's another very big concern. I think that we talk about concerns, and there's a lot of them. Again, like we talked about, I feel like on the show a while ago, you have to find ways to win games. We were talking about the pitching staff, how we were a little bit concerned because they were giving up home runs. The offense, the offense has really dug themselves a hole. And you got to find ways. I don't know if it's dropping down bunts, stealing bases. You might have to just play small ball to get through this regional. That's the only kind of thing that you can think of that's an idea because they've even gotten over 175 runs this year. They're at 169. You just shake your head in frustration. And I feel like though. Again, Jacob, like you added, Coach Scott Beyer, proven coach, but they gotta show something or else their season's gonna be done quicker than this show, practically, you could say.
It's a funny analogy. I think I think it's kind of a good point. The coach can only do so much. He can get them in the right mindset and get them locked in for the game, but he's not the one on the field. And I'm not saying that to knock your take or Bayer's ability, but like these players have to perform. The offense has to step up, and I have my doubts that they will, especially against some tough pitching staffs that they'll be facing.
So this will end segment number 1. We'll step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers with a new person for another year that will be the new kicker in Titletown. Again, you're listening to the sports page here on 90.3 WRST-FM, Oshkosh, and watching on YouTube.
Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
No one in AA said to me, why would a nice young girl with such a great future drink so much? They said, welcome, come in and sit down. We know how you feel.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings?
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
I'ma get
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the sports page here on 90.3 WRST-FM Oshkosh. Again, this is our final episode for the 2025-26 school year. If you missed segment number 1 where we talked about UW Oshkosh softball, you can wait for us to post it on WRST.org. It's now time to talk about the Green Bay Packers, who on Friday made the move that almost every fan was waiting for as they released Brandon McManus, and basically all sources lead to Trey Smack is going to be the starting kicker for the Green Bay Packers, hopefully, for the 2026 season. And guys, just a little background on Brandon McManus. His field goal percentage at 80% was tied for last in the NFL. 97% from extra points, which was tied for 22nd, and his longest field goal was only 56 yards, which was tied for 24th, and in total points at 104 was tied for 22nd. And for Trey Smack, again, we talked about it with the Packers draft, he has an 83% field goal percentage, and not in basketball, kicking-wise, just for folks watching or listening. And also on top of that, in his career, 99% from the extra points, 100 for 101, and a career-long 56-yard field goal, which matches Brandon McManus' longest for the season, and he was 10 of 13 for a school record on 50-plus kicks. Jacob, I'm actually going to agree with you that this kicker actually is pretty legit. I mean, you look at it, I kind of forgot that he actually was good on extra points, better than Brandon McManus, but again, do you guys think this kid can finally get us back to a consistent kicker like Mason Crosby? Because it's been a while. It's been an very annoying long time since we've had a kicker who knows how to kick the ball through the two big yellow poles that don't cost us games. Sorry, I'm a diehard Packer fan, and it just frustrates me with how kickers ruin this season. Who wants to start here, Zach or Jacob?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and say that it's a big difference going from college to the NFL. I mean, you look at the extra points in college, you kick an extra point from basically the 10-yard line. You know what I mean? So it's only like a 20-yard extra point. NFL, it's about 33-yard extra point. So there's some differences there. The goalposts are also smaller. The hash marks are different too. There's different rules. So I think it's going to take some adjustment for Trace Mack. It's not easy just to go from, a wider goalpost to a smaller one. And I mean, sure, like you always want to train to go right down the middle with all your kicks and everything, but at the same time, it's still going to take time for you to get used to the differences. I like, again, with the hash marks, the different angles and that sort of stuff. But, on paper, this guy looks like he's definitely legit. Like you said, 10 of 13 from 50 plus. That's the school record, and that's something that, McManus has really struggled on. 50 plus in his career, he has had 90 attempts from 50 plus and has only made 51. So that's only about half from 50 plus. And in this day and age in the NFL, they're looking at guys that can consistently hit 50 or yard or longer for their field goals because it just makes it that much shorter of a distance that you need to get points on the board. For example, and especially now with the way that after a kickoff, they're moving the ball up consistently, moving the ball up. When you start at the 30, it's not going to be that much longer until you can attempt an extra point or not extra point, a field goal. Maybe even about 40 yards is all you need for offense, 50 yards, and then suddenly you're in field goal range again. So I think this guy has a big leg. I think just the accuracy is one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, considering that in college, he was only at 82.8%, and that's not much better than McManus was last season. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this guy does, not only from the longer distances, but the closer ones as well.
Yeah, it's. I agree with you. I'm very excited about him. Anything's better than McManus at this point. The Packers have definitely had their fair share of kicker woes, but I don't know. I think this was a good decision. I guess. Well, I think the draft pick was fine. The player is fine, but trading 2 sevenths is another discussion. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it. It's just it's exciting to replace a guy who screwed us in a playoff game.
Yeah, Jacob, you want to?
Well, I was just going to say that, at least they're only going to have to pay him the rookie salary. So I don't know if that's what kind of went into it too. You don't have to pay like a veteran. You can pay this guy a little bit less and probably get the same performance that you're going to get. And with his rookie contract, you get him locked down for a certain amount of time instead of constantly having to, renegotiate with Brandon McManus because he was on just a bunch of one-year deals and stuff like that. So I think overall, and you look at even the age, and, McManus had some health issues last season. That's why they brought in another kicker. But this guy, he looks very sharp and he's healthy. And the biggest thing that you need throughout a football season is people that are healthy. It's not always about the talent, it's about the availability. And this guy has been available, and I think he can do some damage, especially come playoff time. Because, while he's never made it to the NFL playoffs before, because he's a rookie, he's gone to a big school. We talked about it last week. He's gone to the University of Florida. There's not that much, better of an atmosphere kicking-wise, especially in college, than down there at Florida and an SEC school. Sure, like they take on teams like Alabama, LSU every season. So he's able to kind of face off against some schools and go on the road to some places that it's pretty hostile. And, in Green Bay, he's going to have the opportunity to play in a lot of domed stadiums with the NFC North. So I don't know if that's going to make any sort of difference. It should be easier, realistically, the kicking outside. He's just going to have to get used to the cold winters in Green Bay. But to be honest with you, plenty of other kickers have come in from areas that were, not up north and had plenty of, opportunity to kick up here and have been very successful. So I think, this guy has what it takes, I believe, to be better than McManus was last year.
Yeah, I certainly think that's a big thing we got to talk about because in this kicking game, it's what the Packers have been searching for, a kicker that's competent enough to be able to make kicks when they matter most, because that's what's cost the Packers most of the season. But now we're just gonna pivot because again, the almighty Shams Charania with the NBA everybody roll their eyes because, ooh, wow, Shams Charania. Yes, again, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Everybody's saying that the Bucks are now talking with teams about trade offers with the NBA draft combine in 6 weeks. I mean, Zach, Jacob, who wants to start first? Because, I mean, I really don't even want to. This Shams Charania stuff is getting just old and annoying. It's basically like clickbait. I mean, until Giannis comes out and tells people, I don't believe a word.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly how people should take it. Shams Charania has been blowing smoke in the air with Giannis trade rumors for, it feels like 5 years now. Like since we lost or since we won the championship, it's been like, let's push Giannis out of here. Or let's leverage this because they're struggling in the playoffs and they're probably the panic team or the easy choice panic team. But I don't know. I know with the situation with Damian Lillard on an just dead money sitting out there. Miles Turner, what a horrible signing in free agency. I shouldn't have never liked that, but it's just I don't know. You got to give assets while you can, and it makes sense on why they're negotiating. But I also don't even know if I believe that they are negotiating because it's Shams.
But then also on top of that, is the Bucks. They got practically one of the worst picks in the draft lottery. I mean, 10? Like,
definitely unlucky.
There's nothing, like, I mean, yes, this is a generational draft class that people say, but it's just frustrating because it's like you couldn't have even gotten in the top 8, like 10 again.
Well,
like, it's where the Bucks have gotten almost all the time, I feel like.
I'm sure that the Bucks are kind of feeling things out with this draft class. I wouldn't be surprised if they're hearing offers, but then again, everybody's going to hear an offer for a player no matter what it sounds like. You know what I mean? If you offer enough, people are going to listen. And so I think, maybe the Bucks are listening, and this is true. They're seeking trade offers, but it doesn't mean they're going to take the trade offer. They're waiting for somebody, I think, maybe like the Wizards, to offer them the first pick of the draft. And then, to be honest with you, I would think twice. I would strongly consider that if the Wizards are going to offer you the number 1 pick.
I would take.
So I think they're kind of looking at packages here, even at number 2 for Utah. You know what I mean? That could be another option as well. So I think that they're listening right now. Personally, would I want Giannis to go? No, I love Giannis. You know what I mean? He's been quite the player for the Bucks. He's been probably the best player the Bucks have ever had, aside from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he's
probably better Buck though.
This generation's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yes. And the city would be heartbroken when he leaves, because he's going to leave at some point. But it's just everything that he's built there has meant so much to not only Milwaukee, but the state of Wisconsin as a whole. So I'd hate that. But at the same time, maybe it is time to finally let go and to rebuild, because I don't feel like there's no better time to rebuild with the way the Bucks are at than right now.
Yeah, and I believe on top of that, Jacob, Giannis has built a family here. He's raised his kids here. He met his wife here. I mean, but also on that other note, I mean, if you talk to Utah or Washington and they offer either the 1 or the 2 pick, I mean, if you get the 1, you get to control who you want. You could get AJ DeBonsa. You could get Darren Peterson. I mean, Cam Boozer's not even on my radar. I think it's either Peterson or DeBonsa. If you get the 2, you either get DeBonsa or Peterson. I mean, it's 2 not bad picks. But on top of that, you got to look at a team that has a lot of draft capital. That's the biggest thing. What assets does a team have? Because right now at 10, the Bucks, you really kind of got to see, because a lot of those guys that are like the top ones will not be there at that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to draft capital and looking around the landscape of the league, I think the most important thing for the Bucks is if they're going to trade Giannis, they need to get a very high-end pick in this year's draft, or they need to go to the Hawks or the Trailblazers or even the Pelicans and get one of them involved in a 3 bigger than just like player and team. Like, this is a conversation that takes a long process between the two parties. And I honestly don't think involving a agent is going to help, because you really just want to hear what Giannis is saying. Like, that's all that matters right now is what Giannis wants. And the Bucks should follow that because of everything he's built here, in my opinion.
And, we have such a unique thing going on here in Wisconsin that we can even discuss this, that a guy wants to stay with the Bucks, that a guy wants to stay with the team he's been here for 13 years already. You look elsewhere in the league, guys like LeBron James are looking to jump ship wherever they can and immediately win another title. Giannis has put in the time and the effort to be here and to build the team from crap. Looking back on it, I could see him wanting to stay around and be another part of another rebuild. And, looking at some of this, I think there's a possibility we can move up in the draft, maybe not to the number 1 or number 2, but, you kind of look at it and, sure, you got some guys like Ryan Rollins that can handle the ball, but Rollins, I don't know if I really want him at the point. You know what I mean? He's a good scorer and everything, but I'm not sure how good of a ball handler or decision maker he really is. Darius Acuff, from what I saw in college, he was just outstanding for Arkansas. And if you're able to, get rid of Miles Turner, for example, Kyle Kuzma, those guys you can live without. You get a bunch of guys for cheaper in the NBA that can do the same thing that Miles Turner did this season.
Yeah, if not better.
Yeah. But if you're able to still keep Giannis and add a top draft pick, somebody like Acuff, while also keeping Ryan Rollins and AJ Green, there's some good pieces off the bench here. AJ Green is an outstanding three-point shooter. I don't think he should have been a starter for as many games as he did, but again, with all the injuries and everything, they had to put guys out there like Cormac Ryan at the end of the season. I love Cormac Ryan, but he's not a starter. You know what I mean? Same as even like Jericho Sims and Pete Nance. They got some good young talent that if they can just add, another draft pick, get rid of some of the old guys that can't move, I think this team can completely turn around for next season.
Yeah, so this will conclude segment number 2. Let's step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to reminisce on the best sports moments for WRST this school year. We're back on the sports page here on 90.3 WRST-FM, Oshkosh.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings?
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
What I remember most is the loneliness I felt, the separation from other people. At the end, drinking was no fun for me. Since I've started to attend AA meetings, the greatest gift is that I've become reconnected. I'm part of life again. I really like myself, and that's wonderful. AA is a miracle in my life.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you will feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the sports page here on 90.3 WRST-FM, Oshkosh. If you missed segment number 1 or 2, just wait for us to post on WRST.org. Now, guys, it's time, usually when you're in that season finale of a TV show or something, they always have the flashback moments. I mean, it's time for us to do that with the final sports page episode of the 2025-26 school year. I mean, it's time to reminisce on stuff. I mean, Jacob, you and I started the school year driving up to De Pere, Wisconsin to do a volleyball broadcast with a cell phone and a kind of wireless board because we didn't have Ethernet. And once we were done with that game, we basically had ringing in our ears for almost 30 minutes to us doing a national championship. Games against the number one team, top 10 upset. I mean, baseball, softball. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, some of the best moments I feel like have to be, well, number one, it's got to be the national championship up there. For us to basically, Jacob, you were telling me at the start of the year, we didn't know what the volleyball team was going to look like. They brought in Grace Juergens, and I mean, that did everything.
We had them here in the studio. We were able to interview them on the sports page for an hour. We could have done 2 hours with them here on the sports page with John Ellman, bringing in the flag football team for their first ever, WRST appearance in the program's first ever season. So there's been a lot of firsts this year for WRST. It's hard for me to decide, which one is my favorite moment, but I think we've all done a very good job here at the station.
Yeah, it's more or less, we racked up numerous awards as well. I think that's another big thing. 5 years radio sports play-by-play. I mean, we were awarded first place for the Midwest Broadcasters Association. I mean, countless stuff. But on top of that, we were able to do a women's flag football broadcast from J.J. Keller Field when we didn't know that was going to be possible until maybe a month before. Jacob, when you were on the show for the last episode last year, we didn't even know flag football. You didn't even know flag football was going to be a thing. I mean, it came out of nowhere.
We didn't find out about it until August when the chancellor first spoke at the beginning of the school year. So yeah, it was a shock.
It definitely, a lot of stuff changed. We brought Zach on with us in, I believe it was the spring semester after we kind of basically, it was a shakeup, you could say, with the spring semester. We brought Justice on as assistant sports director. Halfway through September, there was a lot of stuff. I totally think I'm forgetting a lot of other things, but still an unreal
Zach
year.
still made a couple of appearances, I believe, last semester, right, Zach?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your time here on the sports page being, me and Braden, or I guess me, now that I think about it, as an old head, I've been on the sports page for a very long time, but what has it been like for you guys to be on here really, for the first time this year?
It's been an absolute honor to be able to work with you guys and kind of share my opinions live on the air here with our fellow WRST listeners. But yeah, it's a learning experience, that for sure. I'll never forget my first time on the air outside of my 3 p.m. sports update on Fridays, I believe it was the 100th homecoming halftime show, and I'm sure some of the listeners might remember it too because that didn't go so well, and that was by definition a learning experience. So I got some memorable experience or times here and with you guys, but yeah, I can't recall all the special moments like you guys can, and I unfortunately didn't take part in those. I might have been up in the studio listening, but yeah.
No, I remember bringing you on for that women's basketball game against Whitewater, texting you that week of, hey, you want to be on the air? And you said, sure, what do I have to do?
Yeah. That definitely, got to work on a tight schedule around here. It's things come at you fast, and I was more than happy to help you out with that game, and I thought that was a great experience. I saw a baseball game with Justice Sear just a few weeks ago, so I've done my fair share of things, but I definitely haven't accumulated the experience you two have.
And we just never got the opportunity to call together, Zach.
No.
I know that was something on both of our to-do lists, but unfortunately, every time we signed up for a game, it got canceled due to the rain. So that really stunk. But, you brought up a good point before. I'll never forget that halftime show that you did. That was on homecoming, correct?
Yep.
That
100th
was
homecoming game in school history.
Yep. And I turned around and I went to go get food in the press box. Thought I just left Zach to do the whole halftime show by himself. I come back with a whole plate of food and it's dead. There's no talking from Zach. He's sitting there looking around going, dude, I don't know what to do. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, are we on the air? And I know a couple of listeners have gone on to say that their highlight of the game was listening to me come into the room and ask, are we on the air? And Zach's like, I don't know what to do. So immediately I had to sprint over there to the board and at least fill some sort of airtime. But, I think, Zach, you've definitely come a long way. Yeah. Now we can actually have you on the sports page, and you don't have to really think about what you're going to say. You can just go out there and say it. So I think you've really grown your confidence there.
Yeah, and Zach, don't worry, we are on the air. Just to confirm that.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I think this is more my natural state. I've been talking sports my entire life. I'm sure every guy listening out there can recall the experience of sitting at the lunch table during elementary school, middle school, high school, and talking sports and doing exactly what we do here. So, yeah, I mean, nothing but
statesman, basically, of that whole show. And I know that Aiden will most likely be back to be the producer. Aiden has spent, besides me, the second most time on the show of all of us here. I mean, this guy, he used to be the sports assistant for WRST under Dylan Eckhart. He's shaking his head. He doesn't want to be speaking on the show again. But overall, Aiden's taking over for the station operations manager next year, so he'll be in charge of the board once again, won't you, Aiden?
Yeah, I will be. I was half the time, but I mean, production side, I like doing production a lot, so I will definitely be here on the board helping Zach, Marzu, and Killian.
Well, yeah, there we go. We finally got the
job as the sophomore who is just getting the reins and on the saddle of the horse. And I mean, I look at it now and it was an awesome ride. It definitely had its ups and its downs, from my first ever time calling volleyball, being like a deer in the headlights, to being able to just cover that national championship run. I mean, basketball wise, I mean, just a lot of stuff. I mean, if Dylan Eckhart's listening, I mean, I owe a lot to him trying to train me. You as well, Jacob. I remember, like people say, you lose track of time when you're having fun, and I think that's exactly what has happened here. And I mean, there's so much fun stuff, even though Mother Nature this spring was not a friend of mine, canceling so many broadcasts that I had to send out emails.
Some of the actions after. That's for sure.
I know there was a lot of people from the Advanced Titan that were concerned about you and being able to get your car out and just all the shoveling that had to be done. So
yeah. Hey, thanks to them for being concerned about me. But yeah, I don't have much more to say besides that.
But overall, too, as we look to next year, Zach, you're going to be a part of the newspaper again. You'll be managing editor. So I feel like, in the RTF department, we've really grown to accompany all majors and everything kind of under one roof. And, I don't think that you ever thought that you would be coming on here to the radio station. I mean, you're more of an amp guy by trade, but then, we needed a digital content manager. We got you over here. So you're kind of doing both duties now.
Yeah. I'm kind of following in your footsteps a little bit there, but I
don't know if that's really legal since we're a non-commercial station.
Hey,
but
it is free though, Jacob. I am just telling you that. It is free. But yes, Doc Hounds.
Wait, one more time, please, Jokers.
I heard it's free.
Is it though? I don't know.
It is free.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be exciting. I am pumped. We have a lot of returners coming off a Eastern Division title. We sadly did lose to the Chicago Dogs, but another one. We're chasing a championship this year. I'm excited to be a part of the ride. And again, I am so excited to clock in at 9 a.m. Friday morning right after finals and get ready to rock and roll. So it's going to be fun, though. WRST for sports.
With WRST, oh my gosh, that was so long ago. I can remember my first Titan TV one. I'm pretty sure I was with Devin as my first WRST sports broadcast. I mean, I did a whole bunch of WRST sports updates when I was a RTF 120 student. And I know Wendell kind of was talking about this to me and you just a couple minutes before the show, but about how he remembers he was listening just on a random day. He was just listening over the air and it's like, who is that? Who's on the air right now? And I remember him bursting in the door and he's like, are you on the air right now? Or was that just you on the air? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that was pretty good. What do you want to go into? And I was like, sports. And I thought that was the greatest thing that he said. Birds have been like, that was not a very good sports page episode. But for the most part, it has been such a great experience. We've taken home so many different awards and been recognized, but we're just here to essentially be something that nowhere else in this Oshkosh community does, and that's talk about EWO sports and Fox Valley sports in general. Nobody else in the Fox Valley covers EWO athletics like WRST does. And so I think that the sports page will continue to be a major part of WRST, just as it has been for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? So it will continue for a very long time after me. I'm just glad that I could be a part of that historic broadcast, for my time here. But yeah.
Well, hey, let me be the first to thank you as part of student media. Like, we appreciate you, man. And you've done a lot of hard work here. So for me, myself, I'm sure Junkers feels mutually. Thank you, man. Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, I remember a great friend. He's helped me learn what college life is. I'll just say that too.
Well, I really appreciate that from you guys. It means a lot to me that people have identified the work that I've tried to put in for the last 5 years, whether it be from the AT, Titan TV, or WRST. And, I really appreciate the kind words. And Braden, if I remember right, you ended up dropping that class, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Because I remember,
believe Zach might have been in that class. I don't know for sure.
I don't know.
It was the PR with Nicolini.
Yes.
I never
think so.
I never had Nicolini. I had Aaron Elliott for that class.
I'm pretty sure your classmate from Pewaukee was, though, who's in the AMP department, Lucas Nicholson.
Yeah.
I think he might have been in that one, but yeah, that class was something else.
Yeah.
But Jacob, here we go.
Another minute.
Well, yeah.
What? Any final remarks?
Just counting down here.
Counting down
Okay.
that time.
Well, like I said before, make sure to tune in next semester. The sports page will still be around. It'll still be good to listen to. And, like I said, I don't want this to turn into like a Jacob Link show. You know what I mean? But I really appreciate everything that, the students have done. And really, it's made me feel like I'm a professor at this point because I'll sit in my office and I'll have students